Okay, guess what? It's alive. All right, welcome back. Part 26. This is a big one. Could not be happier. It runs. Hasn't moved yet, but it does run. 5 days. I've been out here for 5 days. Have not filmed a damn thing. Fortunately, but unfortunately, we just had our roof replaced on our house. Had a whole crew of roofers over here for the last 5 days, tearing our house apart. It's been nothing but air compressors, hammers, just all the noise you can think of. So it wasn't very conducive to making good videos out here in the garage, being that I'm so close to the house. But it gave me an excuse to stay home and stay in the garage, and I've got everything done. Virtually everything done. So wiring, last we left off, I had a few more pieces of wiring harness put together. It's done. Wiring harness completely finished. All the lights, everything works. Interior completely finished. I've plumbed all the brakes. All the brakes are plumbed. I have my master cylinder. I'm just waiting for a bench bleeding kit to show up so I can get that bench bled. And I've been working on that. I'll show you what I've been doing here. Learned some new stuff here as of recently. Implementing it on this truck for the first time. But I think here shortly we're going to see this thing move under its own power. And I can't be more excited. So, you want to hear it run? I bet you do. Now you're going to have to wait though. Alright, so like I said in the previous video, I didn't really want to try to start up the truck until I had brakes. Well, my curiosity got the better of me, and I have fired it up. There's no exhaust on it yet. It was just to run it long enough. Saw it's got 60 pounds of oil pressure. Had to get some power steering fluid in it. Had to get some tranny fluid dumped in. I think so far I've put in 8 quarts and still needs more. So I've stopped there against my better judgment. I'm not doing that anymore. And focus on the brakes. So I have all the brakes plumbed. Brake lines are all made. Everything's routed, clamped up in place. And master cylinder. What I'm using here, this is it's a 15/16, I think they call it like a 0.97 inch bore. Ranger master cylinder. This is what I'm going to try. I had a lot of brake problems with Gilligan, the Bronco 2, before. I bought a complete James Duff upgraded brake kit that had like a Willwood type master cylinder. Had a 1-inch bore. Just never really happy with the brakes on the Bronco 2. They never worked quite right. That had drums in the rear. Now this truck has disc brakes. The front is all the same axle, same braking system. Some things I learned as of recently here is I never knew about one of these tools. I recently saw a friend using one, got me intrigued, did some research about it. I'm 51 years old, I never even knew about one of these things, and the importance of the pushrod length. And the pushrod is something that I played around a lot with on Gilligan, trying to get the pedal right, trying to get the right feel for everything. And who knows, I may have had that completely screwed up and out of whack as much as I messed with that. And what I discovered was, when I bolted this master cylinder to this booster, the push rod, you don't want the push rod pushing on the piston inside the master cylinder, putting preload on it, because of where the pistons are inside of this. You preload it, you're going to, you have the potential to cover up or move the piston seal past the orifice where the fluid gets inside of this. So it's very crucial to not have any preload on the master cylinder. When I bolted this up, there was massive preload. This push rod was way too long for this master cylinder. And as far as I know, these are Ranger components, the booster and this master cylinder, so I would have thought they would have worked together, but they didn't. So using this tool, I can check the depth of how deep this piston is inside here, and then you just translate that over to your booster to check the length. I had to shorten the push rod quite a bit, probably, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, which is a lot. And they want about 20 to 25 thousandths clearance in between them, so there's no preload at all on it. So I actually have this set up correctly now. So now I can go ahead, I can bench bleed this, get all the air out of it, bolt it up. I have all my lines already made. I have a adjustable proportioning valve already plumbed in for the rear brake, so I can get that dialed in right. And we'll go ahead and get this all bolted up, fill it with fluid, and we'll start pumping it up and checking for leaks, make sure everything's good to go. Once the braking system's done, I feel pretty confident then in firing it back up, and we'll go ahead, we'll let it run the trans through the gears, get all the fluids topped off, let it come up to temperature a couple times, make sure electric fan works, everything else, and we'll go from there. So pretty excited. All right, perfect timing. Amazon driver just dropped off my universal Dorman brake bleeder kit. Gives you a bunch of different fittings and some hose and stuff. So I have that. Got the master chucked up in the vise here. So we're going to fill it up with some fluid. Then we'll just go ahead and manually pump the cylinder till all the air is bled out. Then we'll transfer it over to the truck. Right there, that looks full. I'll go ahead and slowly get the air out. Lots of air. It's sucking the fluid down. There it is. Yeah, it just firmed up a bunch. So, no more air. Move this to the truck, we'll get it bolted on. I'm going to leave all this hooked up until the last minute. I'll pull these off and get the lines on. Alright, so there, the brakes are done. Master cylinder's on, push rod length is set. Got the proportioning valve on there. Got it filled up with fluid, gave it a few pumps so far. Fortunately, I'm going to have to wait till I get an extra hand over here. Like to have somebody just sit in there, pump the pedal by foot while I go underneath and hit all the calipers. Make sure we get all the air bled out and check for leaks. So, but that part's done. Looking pretty good. I like how this all turned out. Looks a lot cleaner without all that stuff from the vacuum pump for the brakes. So, wiring harness, pretty happy with how all that turned out as well. Everything looks really good. Air box. So my power distribution, all the relays, like all that. Also, in case you never saw it in any of the older videos, we have light. Entire engine compartment illuminated. That came in really handy already. So let's get an extra foot over here, get these brakes bled, and I want to see this thing move. Alright, so I guess I've kept you waiting long enough. So let's hear it. There is no exhaust, it's just open headers, so it's pretty rowdy. But she's stone cold. I got some training fluid in it, put some more power steering fluid in it, just going to fire it up, let it circulate some of that, I'll shut it down and check the levels again. But, see what she does. I should probably hook up the battery. Alright. Okay, here we go. Fuel system's primed. Pretty easy. Sounds good. Okay, here we are, making the magic happen. I had just enough leftover scrap material that I was able to whip up a quick and simple exhaust system for the Truggy. I reused the Y pipe that came off the Bronco 2 Gilligan. It's not ideal, but it's going to allow me to at least get this thing out on the road, street drive it, and do some testing anyway. And I threw together a little transition. The system I had on the Bronco 2 was 2.5. So 2.5, opened it up to 3-inch MagnaFlow and a dump. Ultimately, this will go to a friend of mine, and he will build a completely different exhaust system. But this will work for now. This will get me on the road, work out any bugs. We need to make sure everything else is working. So let's take a look underneath there, and I'll show you the Y pipe and what's going on there. Okay, so here's the Y pipe. This is one that was built for the Bronco 2, and the problem is it's all 2.5-inch, but there is a little bit of interference problem. When it goes full stuff on the driver's side, there's just not enough room between the yoke and that crossover pipe, and it's hit a couple times and crushed it. I've actually cut out that corner and kind of put in a concave piece of pipe to try to make clearance, and it still hits. There's just not enough room there, so we will change this up to something different. But for now, like I said, for some street driving, get this thing all dialed in, get the bugs worked out, this system is going to work fine for now. So, all right, let's get this up. Let's get it in there. All right. There is my scrap exhaust system. Brand new MagnaFlow. Little dump. I think it turned out pretty good. Alright. This is awkward to film. Let's just hear it. That's the important part. Okay. Let's see what it sounds like. Fire in the hole. There it is. It moves. We're this close. This close. Brakes are, definitely got to rebleed them. Do another couple rounds. Pedal, when it's in high gear, it's okay-ish. When I put it, when I locked the doubler in, it just idled right through the brakes. So definitely got some more work to do there. And I just got to get the steering ram bolted up. I can't really quite steer it yet. But everything else is hooked up. But very happy. It's fires right up. Runs good. Sounds good. So hopefully the next video, it'll actually be on the road, street tuning, just dialing everything in. Hopefully the alignment's good. We'll find out then. But until then, that's it. This is a wrap. Very happy. The Mutt is alive. See you on the next one. Bye.